Hey everybody, get ready for Transformational Tuesday on the Own Your Now show. We got some surprises for you. Let's go.
Unstoppable.
Say I am unstoppable. Let me hear you say I am unstoppable. And let the horns play. Hey. Oh yeah. I heard that I would fail. Then I heard you won't prevail. Then I heard all the things that I can't do. And then your strength.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It's time for the Own Your Now show. I am your host, Tracy Berry McGee, also known as Divine T. And it's Transformational Tuesday, and I have a treat for you. That's right, y'all. We have a surprise. Our guest host today, she's our co-host, Shameen Clark Hubbard. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
I am excited about today. Lady O isn't with us today. She will be back tomorrow. But we wanted to give her a little break because, you know, we're in the week of her birthday.
Woo, Scorpio
yes,
season.
it is Scorpio season. But I wanted to talk about the fact that we've been on location this week. The Missouri History Museum. Of course, we're not there right now, but you all will see later on today. Our actual guest is Amanda Clark, no relation.
Right.
But she's talking about the tours.
Yes.
Before we even get started with that, what's in your cup? What you sipping
Oh
on?
my goodness. You know, even though the weather, oh my God, didn't feel like fall. Yesterday, it was like, 70-something degrees yesterday, but I'm still in the fall season, so I'm on this pumpkin spice latte from Caldi's.
All right, all right. Well, you know how I feel about coffee. My coffee is the dark roast. Black, no sugar, no cream. I'm sticking with it. But you know what? It's just as good. That Caldi's is everything. I always say it's everything because it is. It gets you going. Speaking of pumpkin, latte, spice,
Yes.
and all things nice, I'm just excited that today we literally got a chance to kind of come back to where we started. I don't know if everybody knows, but when we first started, it was right here. We're in my office, just so we'll be just transparent with you guys. And we decided, like, let's do some on-location stuff because we're wrapping up the season. And our first session when we were in the office, I was online on Facebook by myself, drinking a cup of coffee because that's what I do. And Shameen popped in, and she was like, "Hey, sis."
Right.
And I just wanted to know, like, for us to come together now, it was so important to grab women who support each other.
Yes.
And so that meant everything to me.
Oh my God, this opportunity has meant everything to me. So, and I thank y'all. If you remember what I tried to run away a couple of times, and y'all just kept pulling me back, carrying me through. So, you know, it's been an amazing journey, and I'm not taking a second for granted. And I know you aren't taking a second for granted. And shout out to Lady O and Justice King. You know, we in this. So
I was gonna say
we having
that.
a great time, and it's all God. I know it's all God's plan.
Yes, it is. It is God's plan. We're all in this together, y'all, and we take care of one another. Speaking about taking care of one another, history. So this week has been about us learning all we can about the Missouri Historical Society. Our guest today is Amanda Clark, and she does the C Tour, the STL Tour. Talk to us about history. Where are you from?
So I was born and raised in the Ville. Everybody knows the Ville holds a special place in my heart. The Ville, the Fourth Ward, historic Ville, amazing Ville, and so much history. Homer G. Phillips, Sumner
Yes.
High School. I mean, you can go on and on about all the history and the amazing things and amazing people that have come out of the Ville neighborhood. So yeah, that's where I was born and raised. That's my home. It will always hold a special place in my heart. Even though I brag on a new 26 all the time now, baby, don't play with me about the Ville.
It's so interesting that you say that. Speaking of history, I was born at Homer G. Phillips. My mom was born at Homer G. Phillips, one of the oldest hospitals, you know, and it's where African Americans were birthed, you know, so much
And
rich
taught.
history.
And taught.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we were birthed there, but I think people don't, you know, people also miss that every black doctor at some point in time in that era came through Homer G. Phillips because that was the only place that they could do their residency.
There's a great story that Cherise Hilario did on Homer G. Phillips. Everybody needs to look that up. But speaking of where I was birthed and then where I grew up, I grew up in the Anu 26th Ward, Cabiny Place, and that has significance to me as well. Talk to everybody about the value of being an older woman, because I know that that's really important when you talk about local, national, global when it talks about politicians, but the fact that you live in the ward, right?
Right. So isn't it crazy though how much we have in common and we didn't even know it? Like, I know I met you through my mom, through the sorority and everything, but how much our lives intersect is crazy, because she's, like she said, she grew up on Cabiny Place. When we moved from the Ville, which I thought was the end of the world, but it turned out being okay, we moved to Cabiny Place. So I grew up on Cabiny Place too. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's so important because it's foundational things that are embedded in you, so that when you're leading a community, you can fall back on. They make a difference in how you lead, how you listen to your constituents, and how you can serve them best. You have to know them. You have to have the heart for them, and you have to know them to be a good leader in the community, a good alder person, any kind of elected official for that matter. So, you know, the fact that these are areas that I come from, that I hold dear to me, that I know the history of, you know, that makes me fight for them even harder and on a whole nother level. So I think anybody that could just move, what do they call those kind of, it's a word for that. I think it's called carpetbaggers or something like that, for politicians that just move in the area just to run for a seat.
That's not you.
No, you can definitely tell the difference between that kind of elected official, that kind of politician, and a real leader and servant in their community.
Well, that's what we're all about. And you know what else we're about? We're about making sure that you take care of yourself. So get ready for the Own Your Now affirmation word of the day, as well as our meditation. And you know what? It's sponsored by Caldy.
Life is all about the journey. Life's curves, hitting the road fast or slow. Celebrations, anniversaries, and birthdays. Everything in life is about moving forward. Whatever direction you choose to go far, go in style. New or used, go with Frazier Automotive.
I'm Amanda Clark, the Community Tours Manager at the Missouri Historical Society. Keep watching the Own Your Now show on the TV network.
Now it is time for the Own Your Now affirmation word of the day. Everybody grab your journals and write down the word Sankofa. Sankofa is so important because it's important for you to, in order to move forward, you can't forget your past. You always look back and grab those from your past to the present. And that's how important it is for us as a community, as a family, as a person, to make sure that in order for us to move forward, we got to pull those from the back and bring them back with us. And we do that by being what, Shameen?
By being our best self.
That's right, y'all, by being our best selves. So everybody take some deep breaths, center yourselves, and get ready for our best self song of the day. And it's called Best Self by Lady Bree. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And let's start with our left arm. Yes. And bring it down. Let's go with our right arm. Look how we ball up our fists. We're so strong. Yes. Let's bring both arms up together. And center ourselves in the prayer position. Bring it close to your heart. And you know what me and Lady O always said? What do we say? Reach out.
And check on
Your strong friends. Check on your strong friends. And then what do we do, Mimi?
We give ourselves a hug.
Yes, hug. Don't that feel good? Ah, that feels so good. That feels so
Yes.
good. You know, mindfulness meditation is everything, but you also walk and you run.
Yes.
How was that for you?
It, like you said, mindfulness is where I clear my mind. A lot of people don't know, I run my neighborhood, so I be checking on stuff too when I'm doing it. I pray for my neighborhood, and I just clear my head.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that when we were at Forest Park, myself and Lady O, everybody was running. They were running out all throughout the day.
Yeah, running. They do a lot of bicycling in the park. They do a lot of different stuff too. You see people with the rollerblades, all different kind of stuff. But yeah, I think the 3-wheel bikes and all.
Yes.
I mean, people get around that park. They keep it
Yes.
moving. They move around. What they say, move around.
They move around. That's what the tour is about. You get to move
Right.
around. We'll find out about the tours. Speaking of the tours, when we return, you will see a great interview by myself and Lady O and the Amanda Clark with the Missouri Historical Society when we return.
Wall Street Company is a family-owned business in the St. Louis Galleria that houses unique brands by women entrepreneurs. From waist beads to stylish handbags, we have special gifts for everyone. Our Boss Day event enables brand owners to showcase their products and connect with customers on a personal level. Stop by today and have an unrivaled shopping experience.
And as promised on this Transformational Tuesday, we have Community Tours Manager Amanda Clark. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Well, thanks for showing up because we know you are out in the community giving tours. So we feel special that you took a little bit of time out. Tell us what you have in your cup. What you sipping on?
Dark roast by Caldi's.
Dark roast by Caldi's. Ask her
That's
the magic
right.
question.
Follow the goat. I
Yes.
just want to know, is it black with no sugar or no cream?
Absolutely. I like my coffee like my wine. The darker, the better.
Hey, I like that. I like that. Well, we'll talk about wine later, but we're going to get started on talking about these tours.
That's right. I want to know, before we get into the tours,
Okay.
what got you started? How did you fall in love with STL history?
Well, I'm not from here. So I moved here about 17 years ago. And I moved to St. Louis kind of on a whim. Didn't know what I was getting into whatsoever. But I came here armed with my history degree. And the more I dug into St. Louis history, the more I found it. It's a really weird, interesting, fascinating place. And the people that live here don't quite realize how weird and interesting and awesome it is. So I just started soaking it up and finding ways to share it with other people.
Now you have CSTL tours. Talk to us about that because you can get on these tours and find out all kinds of things about St. Louis that you had no clue existed.
No idea.
Yeah, it is a dream. It's a dream job that I get to do because I get to show people parts of the city that they may have heard of but have never been to, don't know how to get to, and definitely don't know the immense amount of history there. And it all started with creating a tour that kind of ignores everything from the Arch to Forest Park. And what else is out there? And there's so much
Everything in
more, so
between.
much great history from top to bottom all throughout our city.
So talk to us about, where does the tour typically start? Who is it for?
So we offer over 24 different tours. So they start all over the place. We have walking tours in lots of neighborhoods, some that you would expect, like Soulard, some that you might not, like the Ville. We partner with For the Ville to provide walking tours up there. And then the bus tours, they usually start on Cherokee Street.
Oh, wow.
Also very unexpected.
Yes.
And then take you everywhere from Carondelet to to Hyde Park and back.
Well, when I think of bus tours, I always think like Hollywood when you're on the tour bus and you're going by celebrities' homes and things of that sort. But you're showing the best things about St. Louis and the historical things about St. Louis.
Yeah, and I'm connecting the dots,
Yes.
right, and making
I
it
like
make
that.
sense. So many big things have happened in St. Louis history and recently. We've recently made some big history, right?
Absolutely,
And so a lot of people want to understand why and how did we get here and how can I connect all of that. It's not just North St. Louis, just South St. Louis. They all connect and all those
Yes.
stories come together.
And there's so much rich history in every part of the community. A lot of people say I'm from the south side, the north
Yes.
side. But when you go deep into the west side, the Ville, the communities, it's so rich. Talk to us about how like what if I wanted to take a tour? What does that look like?
So you would, one of two things. One, you'd go to our website, to the mohistory.org, and you would find the CSTL tours, look at the calendar and say, that one sounds good, and hop on it. Or you would email me, my contact information is on the website, and say, hey, this tour looks really good, but my friends and I, we want to go on Sunday. And I say, let's go.
Oh, so you can customize a tour.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, look at that. Now you're talking about a date night or
Yes.
date day. That would be fantastic. Now you have just come to St. Louis and just really dug in to find out the history, but you're making history with Sumner High School.
It's really great to be part of that and help to support this. They had set it for closure, and so a group of us came together and came forth with a kind of emergency plan that we threw, ideas of arts education electives and now humanities electives that will get kids interested in museum work and public history.
And you say museum work. I was talking to some friends and I said, I just never knew there were so many different jobs
Yes.
you can have at the museum.
At the museum. We're learning so
Are
much.
you going to teach the kids about the different levels of jobs you can probably get at the museum that they have no idea exist?
Absolutely, because there are kids that may want to be graphic designers, but they love history, so they can do graphic design in support of
Look at
history,
that.
or marketing in support of history. There's so many different ways to support what we're doing here.
Speaking of support, where do you see the tour going? What's next?
My dream for the tours is to not only offer a diverse range of tours, but a diverse range of people giving the tours.
Oh, I like
and
that.
seeing people give tours that don't normally think of themselves as tour guides. It seems like normally when you think of a tour guide,
cool.
it's a retired professor. And no, I want lots of different people giving them and talking about their own histories and their own
And
communities.
it's fun to be a tour
do
guide.
that. I would love to do
I was
that.
a tour guide when I was in college. I was a tour guide for the Hershey Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
And I got to say hello, and once again, my name is Yolanda. Can I have your attention to my left-hand side? It's so much fun because just like you were talking about the tours of St. Louis, people didn't know the history of chocolate. We just eat it.
Right.
But there's such a strong history. And
There's history of chocolate right here in St. Louis.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Business and coffee and so much more. It's just overwhelming to know that so many people are from St. Louis and don't know their history.
Yes.
And we take, every tour starts with a, who are you and why are you here? And I want to know why someone chose that tour. What do they want to know about and what do they bring to it? Because we're all a different group of people every time we're together, and it's going to be a different
Yes.
tour. every
Now,
time.
have you been on a tour and someone's actually part of history? Like,
Oh, yeah.
that would be interesting because you
You
ask them,
have?
who are you? Who are you? And they say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm the grandson of so-and-so, so-and-so.
Right. And I grew up, I
Yeah.
was born at Homer G. Phillips.
We get that a lot. We get a lot of those,
Wow.
a lot of Homer G. Phillip birth or Sumner grads, or we had someone recently, we were given a tour about garment history, and this woman said, oh, my grandparents, they owned a company that made heels for shoes.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, a lot of people don't know that Washington, if you look at it from the sky, it's a zipper.
Yep.
Yes. The little bitty tidbit facts.
Yes.
Man, you have all the information. I want to know a little bit of information. Everyone that, this is our second day here, but just interviewing everyone, a lot of the women, because we've only interviewed women so far, have come from other states. But once you're here at the Missouri Historical Society, you tend to stay. How long have you been with us?
So I started in January of 2020, and so I was here just right in time. Before that, I owned my own tour company, and so it was a hard choice, but perfectly timed, and it's been an amazing
The
experience.
Renegades, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So now
That's
you'll
me.
be here with us.
Yes.
Well, she's a professional at this, so
Yes, she
people
is.
should come and go on the tours and find out a lot more about St. Louis. I can't wait to take a
When
tour.
you go on a tour, I know you're outdoors. Gotta have comfortable shoes.
Yes.
Are you doing masks? Like, what are the things you need to know
So if
before
we're
a tour?
outside and we can be distanced, we don't, you can not have a mask, definitely comfortable shoes. And for a lot of the neighborhoods, they don't have consistent sidewalks. If we're doing an Old North tour, sidewalks are not guaranteed. And so, yeah, comfortable shoes. But if you're on the bus, just come sit back because they're warm and cozy and you're comfy for 2 hours.
We have to do it. We have to do
Yes,
it.
and you would be our tour guide.
Yeah.
Now, how can they sign up for the tours?
So again, we have a calendar online. They can sign up at the mohistory.org website, or they can email me directly, and we can set up a time that works for them and their group.
Well, I know we're going to see you. We're going to get us
do
a tour.
coffee or wine.
Yes, yes, indeed. Now, before we let you go, because we know you have a busy day because you're giving tours, tell us your affirmation word.
It would be, I think, just forward.
Forward.
Looking forward.
Forward. Well, we want to say thank you. Thank you for saying yes
Absolutely.
to us. Thank you for allowing us to move forward with you on this journey. We're looking forward to see everything, y'all. We will be here every day this week. So if you can't catch us, then maybe you'll just have to find us on the tour. That's right. When we return, get ready for the Own Your Now flow.
Look at St. Louis. What do you see? Do you see the arch? The mighty Mississippi flowing past the city's front door? Well, look beyond that. Look for the history hiding in plain sight. We see St. Louis differently. We offer new views of one of the nation's oldest cities. CSTL Tours by the Missouri Historical Society invites you to see an entirely different side of St. Louis, hear new stories, and interact with St. Louis history in unexpected and sometimes odd ways. The tours are fresh and unscripted, and no two CSTL tours are ever the same. Dive deep into the stories of individual neighborhoods. Discover St. Louis's drool-worthy architecture. Stroll through streets where the 19th century feels just around the corner. Old city, new views. See St. Louis differently with CSTL Tours.
So we are back. How did you feel watching that? Wasn't that so cool?
Oh my God, that is so cool. She's amazing.
Yes, and she said that this is something that she always loved to do. She actually had a tour company before she got with the Historical Society.
Yes.
If you were to take a tour, would you want to ride on a bus? Would you want to walk? What would you want to do?
You know, I probably would want to do both. Look, sis, get me on the bus, let's ride, then get out the bus, walk around, take the tour, then get back on the bus, let's go somewhere else.
You know, me and Lady O were saying that we would love to be a tour guide.
I know, right?
If you were to be a tour guide, where would you take people if they were coming to St. Louis?
Are you kidding? Oh, okay. Well, you know, of course, I would take them to a new 26 and show them all around a new 26. But one of my favorite things to do, anytime even people from St. Louis, when I hear they haven't done it, I would take that bus all the way down to the arch. I love the arch.
It has a rich history, and to be able to feel it and be on the
and go up
steps.
and
Yes.
look at the city from it. I just love the arch. So I think I would start my bus tour in a new 26, swing around the Ville, and then go down to the arch.
You know, I think that, so I remember the first time I took a train ride, I went from Kirkwood all the way down to Union Station. So I would take people on a train ride because I don't think that people experience a train ride. I remember riding a train, Amtrak, all the way to Chicago from St. Louis, and that was a cool experience. But if I was a tour guide, I would take them to the libraries.
Oh, of course.
Specifically the Cabanne Branch Library. That's where I fell in
Route
love.
26?
Yes. It's all about the 26 today, y'all. And you know what? It wasn't even intentional.
Right.
It was the fact that this is what we grew up with. You have to know your history.
Yes.
Your history is everything. And again, all of this is about my mom. We talked about going in the Ville and Sumner. My mom went to Sodan, which is right next to the Cabanne Branch Library. And Clark, we grew up on the west side and all of that. And the librarians there, shout out, they took care of me.
Yes.
So I definitely would take people there. And of course, I would bring them right back around to the Missouri Historical Society. Okay. We would walk, because it is in walking distance. You could walk.
It really is, yeah.
And then I would take them to the hill, and oh my
You
gosh.
would eat good on that hill.
Yes. And then I would bring them back. And I would take them right upstairs to the History Museum. It's a Pure Catering.
Yes,
and
come on,
Pure
Catering, Cafe Pure. Yes, we definitely would go up there.
Yes, so this has really been a great experience. Just thinking about all of the cool things in St. Louis City.
Yes.
And it's important that we realize that we have value. If you're from St. Louis City, you need to do the tour. Amanda Clark loves it. It's clear that she loved it just from all the things that she talked about. Speaking of, it's time for our Own Your Now flow. Your affirmation word for today, what would it be?
My affirmation word for today would be move. Move, sis. I mean, like, move on the tour, move forward, recognize, pay homage, respect your past and where you came from and everything, but make sure that you continue to move forward.
You have to move forward. Yes, y'all. Speaking of forward, like she said, Amanda said, it's important that we realize the value of our past. That's what Sankofa is, reaching back and bringing those behind you forward. But in the midst of moving forward, realizing that when we move together, we create a movement. And that's what the Own Your Now show is all about. It's about a movement. Yes. Myself, you, Lady O, Justice Key, we're bringing everybody together as a movement. And remember, we're going to continue to do that every single day, Monday through Friday. So until next time, make sure you all go visit the Missouri Historical Society. We'll be back tomorrow, same time and same space. But until then, remember, tomorrow isn't promised. So do what? Own your now.
You.